This is INCRadio DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, wherever you are right now. Thank you again for tuning in to another episode of INCRadio New York. I am Sister Abby Hidalgo, your host for today's episode, and with me we have Brother Lance. How are you doing, Brother Lance?
I am doing well, Sister Abby. How are things there?
Things are doing fairly well in Connecticut. It's gonna be, I think, in the 80s today, so 80 degrees Fahrenheit. It's kind of like summer temperature. So hopefully I can enjoy a little bit of the outdoors. But again, my allergies are kind of uh, on the on the fritz. So I apologize. I'm a little sniffly, but it's purely allergies. The spring is in the air. Things are flowering and pollen and all that good stuff. So I don't know how the weather is up there, Brother Lance. Is it warm-ish?
It's apparently I haven't been outside yet since this morning, so it's around 72 according to my weather app. And it's a
Oh.
little cloudy, a little muggy. We've been having snow the last couple of days here and there, which is kind of
Yeah.
frustrating.
Yeah, it's been very interesting weather the past couple of weeks. It was like really cold. I did also receive snow, and then it got warmer, like typical spring weather, and now we're having like summer weather. But anyways, but for today's topic, since the weather is kind of getting nicer and people are starting to go outdoors, we're going to talk about pickleball. So pickleball is considered one of the fastest growing sports. And it attracts a variety of players from all age ranges and skill levels. So it kind of combines the elements of tennis, badminton, and ping pong. Um, it's apparently easy to learn, and it's another way to stay active while also having fun. So, on today's show, we'll talk about the basics, what equipment you need, and the rules, and how to get started to play pickleball. So, on to our main topic. So, Brother Lance, I believe you have played pickleball. I did when I was in high school, kind of learned about it. Don't really recall much, but so what is pickleball?
Yeah, as you mentioned, Sister Abby, it's a combination of tennis, badminton, and ping pong. So it is a bit smaller than tennis, but you are still playing on a tennis floor, kind of, but a smaller version of it. It is pretty fun. You do require there's I think so you can play either two players or you can play doubles. So it's basically tennis, but really just a smaller version of it. It
Miniature size, right?
Yeah, it gets very intense.
Mhm.
Knowing how much pickleball is, I'm still also a beginner, so don't quote me to everything. I'm still learning the game itself, but there is the pickleball craze has been picked up over the last 2 years, I think. Since the
Mhm.
pandemic kind of ended, people started picking that game up, and a lot of the tennis courts in most of the what do you call this in the local parks here has been converted to like half pickleball, half tennis. So they're trying to like really introduce pickleball, and I think in the West Coast, I'm pretty sure there's a lot more pickleball courts out there now.
Yeah, I mean, like I've been because I play tennis, and there was one time I was like seeing extra lines on the tennis courts, and I was just like, what? It got me confused because um, you have like, the baseline, and then there's another line, and then you have like boxes in the back, but then there's like extra lines, and then they explained to me it's like pickleball lines. So I think it's like half a tennis court, but it's kind of the lines are really drawn the same. And it's not as fast paced. I believe that since it's a smaller court and what you use is a paddle, I don't know what they call it. Is it called a paddle?
Paddle.
A paddle and I want to say a wiffle ball because it's like a plastic ball with holes in it, but it's maybe smaller than a wiffle ball.
I think it's about the same size actually.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of interesting to see the craze, like 20 plus years. That's when I learned about pickleball in high school, and it wasn't that popular, but yeah, it's like more courts are popping up. There's like actual, we have tennis clubs, right? Indoor tennis clubs. By the chapel in Bristol, there's an indoor pickleball club. And it's just recently built within the past year, and there's like plenty of cars out there. So I know we can probably potentially do a local activity there, depending on like the availability of the court. But since like, it's an easy game to pick up. Um, can you tell us, Brother Lance, like other than the equipment, like do you have a paddle and the ball, any other things necessary that we need to use for pickleball? Like, is there specific shoes? I know like tennis, you have like shoes that help with your balance and whatnot.
I think the more intense player plays with the tennis shoes. But myself, I just use running shoes because it's another expense. The pickleball, it's like a pickleball racket can be very expensive also. They have a wide variety of pickleball paddles. It's just like similar to tennis. There can be a range of where the intro level, where it's like $0 to $100. Then you get up into the other upper ranges of monetary values, and it gets more expensive. And I think they have different kinds of material also for the equipment for the paddles. There's like carbon fibers that I know of. There's also like mesh ones where it's combination of aluminum and fiberglass, and there's
Hmm.
also just purely fiberglass. So you can get very intense once you get deep into the equipment and the type of paddles you want to play. And apparently, certain paddles hit the balls differently, or it produces certain different amounts of energy also. So it really varies on how you want to play pickleball or how intense you want to get into it. Because I know we bought cheap ones like the wood paddle ones, and they're not
Uh-huh.
good. They'll like hit the ball and it doesn't really bounce back that well. So if you really
Yeah,
want to get intense with it, you get into like buying expensive paddles, I guess.
yeah, I think depending, it's again like physics, right? Like there's certain materials that are better for certain things. And it's, you have to see what paddle and will bounce better or transfer the energy. This is getting very scientific. Back to like get return the ball to the other side. Um, and I know there was a question. It's like, if you have a backyard, can you play pickleball? It's like, well, it depends because you need a court, you need a hard surface. So if the ball is not going to bounce on like grass or gravel, like you can potentially do it on a blacktop, but I think you have to have like a hard surface in order for the ball to be able to bounce. So we kind of have like the basics of equipment and where we can do it. What are the rules of the game, Brother Lance?
Oh, the rules. The rules is quite complicated actually.
Oh, really? I
Yeah,
was kind of
as
okay.
opposed to just like you think it would just be like hitting it back and forth, right? Like
Hmm.
you have to, like once you serve it, apparently you have the other side has to volley first. You can't just like smash the ball to the ground immediately. So you have to
Hmm.
volley first back and forth. I think once or twice from what I remember
Twice.
when we were playing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you can get in the no. I think it's called the kitchen in pickleball, or what is it called in tennis? The inside
We
one.
call it the no man's land.
Yeah. So you can't step in the kitchen once you're trying to hit it. Also, so once you finish volleying from one another, you can back and forth in the outside the kitchen, but near the kitchen. You can't step in it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. So like I didn't know that so you so you can't hit the ball if you're in the area closest to the net.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, so it sounds like kind of like basics of any racket sport. You have to serve behind what we call the baseline, so the line that's the furthest away from the net. And I think the serve is underhand, right? It's not like tennis where you hit it overhand.
yeah,
So you can serve it underhand, and like tennis, you go to the opposite. The you serve it to the person diagonally, right? And then you have to make sure that it bounces before you hit it back. I think for 2 times, like what Brother Lance said. And then after that, anything's game, but you can't hit it in the kitchen area.
yeah. Apparently, you can't hit it while volleying in the kitchen, but you can start like once you finish the volley, you can get in there and like kind of like play back and forth with each other. But then
Hmm.
it's also, I think, you have to be really good at in there because it's very limited movement. Also.
Hmm. Especially since the court is smaller and like the ball it doesn't is not as bouncy if I remember. So I feel like you have to have good technique um to get those angles, that it's not purely power like with tennis, like you can like smash it or like really put all the power because it's very bouncy. But I feel like you have to have more technique to have it like some top spin or get those angles so that the other person cannot get it. What other do you have any other strategy? Well, the scoring. So how is pickleball scored?
Yeah. So I think from what I remember, it's not like tennis where you're like it's 15 something 30 and so forth.
Hmm.
This one, I think whoever's it's kind of similar to volleyball where who's ever the one who's volleying first is the one that only scores.
Hmm.
If you miss, then you don't score, or then it just gets transferred to the other side. Then the scoring starts on the other side once they start volleying also again. So it's not like 1-to-1 where you get like if you miss it, you get 1 point from each other already. It's like a slow increment of whoever is the one serving is the one only keeping the score if they hit it or if they do not miss the ball, I guess.
Yeah. So I guess the person who's serving is the only person that can score. Um, and I believe it goes up to 11. So the first one to 11 wins the game. So it's not, you don't have to remember like, yeah, like tennis, like we do 15, 30, 45, and then love, add in, add out, or love is 0, um, or deuce, or game point or whatever. So it's a little bit easier scoring, easier to keep track of. And yeah, like I think it's a pretty straightforward game, and since it's a smaller court, I think it's known to be easier to pick up. And I think it's can be, even though it can be competitive, it's not as competitive as you would think, right, Brother Lance? Or
I mean, it can get very competitive. I think, especially if we're playing doubles. I mean, it's not as intense as tennis as it is because tennis again is a wider court, uh,
Mhm.
or table tennis itself. I think pickleball is more relaxed, but for the players there, they might say it's a lot challenging than it is. So at least for me, it's a little bit more relaxed than tennis. And a little bit more relaxed than table tennis because table tennis can get pretty intense on the house. You have to hit at a
You're
small
right.
table.
You're right.
The
I
ball is a
think
lot
in
smaller,
any
you know.
sport,
Yeah.
you can get definitely um, competitive. Um, do you know any strategies? Any strategies that you learned along your way?
It's basically the same way as tennis is being played. So I play the same way as tennis because badminton is mostly wrist movement, right? It's
Hmm.
heavily on the wrist. Tennis is more like, is it the forearm or more
Yeah, I
the
guess like it's
swing?
weight transfer. You kind of use your whole body to
Yeah. So I use
direct
the
the
same strategy as tennis, because if you use the same strategy as badminton, where you mostly use your wrists, it doesn't bounce us back as further. And it just kind of limbs out its way there, and it kind of gets boring if you're playing it that way. So using tennis way of playing game. So for badminton players, it might be hard to adapt if we've been playing badminton to tennis. Because I remember when I tried to learn tennis also in high school, when my friends tried to teach me, and I was so used to playing badminton, I couldn't hit the ball back. Then the ball will just go anywhere. So I guess that's my tip: is play pickleball like you're playing tennis, not like playing badminton.
Yeah, like for me, I remember when I was learning pickleball in gym class, I felt like I wasn't grasping it because I was using my tennis techniques. It's like you can't, like, you try to smash it, or you think that you can like be in the kitchen area, but you cannot. And we're used to playing like at the net, when we're volleying in tennis. So it's kind of hard to like switch your strategies between tennis and pickleball. I feel like it's more like angles with pickleball. Like, try to do it very deep towards the baseline, and see if you can like get the angles so that they are going back and forth between one side or the other side. But then the court is kind of small, so you can't really tire them out, right? By hitting it from one corner to the other corner.
I guess you can if you're playing singles, but if you're playing doubles, then everybody has a cover.
Mm.
So I guess it's the same way. It's just a little smaller, but you can get in the pockets of the corners, and you can get them pretty combobulated.
Yeah. I don't know how easy with the paddle. Can you do like spin? Can you like make a top spin on the ball, like when you hit it?
Can, but it has to be a very certain angle for you to do it. I know you can slice through it at least, because
Yeah.
I had tried that. But it's you have to be like closer to the net when you're doing that kind of stuff. Because again, pickleball doesn't bounce back as like tennis ball, where it's more rubberized ball and it kind of sways back and forth easily. With this, it's just like you really have to use some force in order to get it to spin in some sort of way.
Okay. All right. Because I was reading that a way to, I guess, another strategy is that if you do a short ball and you can use the kitchen area. That sounds so weird saying that, the kitchen area to your advantage, right? Because they can't hit in that area or volley. So like one of the strategies I was reading is that you can hit the ball short, give it top spin so that it has like a backwards top spin, so then it kind of falls into the kitchen area, and that it'll be difficult for them to hit the ball back because they're in the area that they're not allowed to hit the ball. So that's I guess another strategy, but it can be considered what we call like a cheap shot.
Yeah, so it gets. I guess for listeners and viewers, if you have strategies on how to play pickleball, let us know. I know there's brethren who's more intense into playing it. I've seen the Jersey folks, Jersey brethren there, play all summer long. So a lot of the Kadiwa members there have seen in Instagram playing pickleball more often than we do up here. Although we do have a lot of nice pickleball up here in upstate, we don't play as often.
Well, yeah. I mean, I feel like it's getting more popular because people are, it's a good way to be introduced to, I think, racket sports in general, because it's not, again, it can get intense, but it's not as intense, and like you're not running around compared to you know tennis or even badminton. Even though the court's small in badminton, um it can, I feel like you're running all over the court. So um and yeah, you have to protect your knees, protect your ankles, like what you said, Brother Lance, earlier, that you like the pickleball because it's easier on your joints, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Especially it's easier and it's not as scary because like, and at least you're not running far, like from one end to the other end, like tennis. Like there's possible you can like ankle sprain in tennis, and there's also your knees giving out on tennis. So in pickleball, since it's smaller, the tendency is a lot less, but you can still do that. You can still sprain your ankle. You can still break your knees or sprain your knees if you don't protect yourself again. So always be careful when you're playing any kind of sports. Use any sport that you need if you're as your doctor recommends if you need knee brace or stuff like that, right, Sister Abby?
Yeah, I mean, before you do any physical exercise, make sure that you're cleared to do any of it, and start off soft or small. Always warm up before you start doing any intense workouts, and build yourself up. You don't have to go 100% right from the get go. Like what we learned in a couple weeks with our physical therapist saying, the tips. So, start off small, easy. Like do your stretches, do your warm ups, do your drills. And if it starts to hurt, like a painful hurt, then stop. Take it easy. Because you don't want to like further injure yourself, and that could be like have more complications in the future. So yeah. So I know there. I was looking at a comment. I think it's Brother Russell. He was like saying about the different types of where is it? Different types of paddles. It's like he said, wooden paddles for any racket sport usually provides better feedback upon the ball impact, while synthetic materials and fibers provide better speed and energy return. Same applies for ping pong. So that kind of makes sense. So like you can feel, I guess if you're learning, so that you can kind of adjust your technique, probably start off with wooden paddles, and then eventually once you're more comfortable, or you're getting better, then you can invest, and you like the sport, invest in like a better racket. It's like, yeah, any other sport. Like you start off like with the basics, and then if you're really interested or you really want to like pursue it, then you can invest for a little better equipment, because again, you don't want to invest in something like super expensive and then you decide not to continue on with the sport.
Exactly. And if you're buying a racquetball or pickleball racket, buy it off season. It's a lot cheaper. Because I seen
Yeah,
the $99 rackets were like, I think sometime in the winter it was only like $10 or so. So
yeah,
it-
makes sense. Look for those deals. Like you don't have to like buy it from the get-go. Do your research. You could, I don't know, maybe you can rent equipment or borrow from someone else before you start investing in material, in the equipment. It's
yeah,
like any other sport. Like try it out first before you go 100% into it. Um, so yeah, I guess that's all for our pickleball discussion. Hopefully we can like find people to play with, right? Make those connections. I bet you there's going to be like pickleball team sports in local towns or whatnot, so it'll be fun to like start learning a new sport. So yeah, so we can move on, I guess, for activities for the District of New York. um, we had our CFO get together last night into this morning. I think people, brethren are wrapping up or going home. It was very fun. We had some games and we had the bonfire and making s'mores. There was a lot of singing and a lot of like seeing brethren that we haven't seen in a long time. So it was very enjoyable. And I know like connections were made, bonds were made stronger. Other activities for the rest of the month. Rochester, you have a team building activity on tomorrow.
yes. So it's for the CWS officers and the CWS kids also, since it's a good way for them to bond together and to learn learn the personalities also from one another based on this
Mhm.
activity. So it's a good bonding activity for them, for the kids also, because we're still trying to connect with the younger kids with us being more adults. So we might have different kinds of things that we like, or there might be into certain other things. So we're also trying to learn what these CWS are into nowadays, so that we can try to adapt more into them and cater more for them, so that they can grow stronger in their faith.
Yeah, and we're gonna be working with people throughout our lives, right? So it's good to like start them young on how to work as a team or work together and have the communication skills and the adaptation on working with different types of people. So if you're in the Rochester area, again, contact your local CFO officers or CWS officers for this important activity as well. And for the local Bristol on April 26th, we have the nature appreciation. So that's something to look forward to. Enjoy the outdoors, but take your allergy medication. you know, um,
A
those
big text
are
also. I think like deer ticks are back on the rise, right? So be
yeah.
careful of that also.
Yep. Wear your bug spray, wear tall socks. And after the walk, or any hiking activity, if you're outside, make sure that you check yourselves all over, just to make sure that you don't have any tick bites or any bug bites or whatnot. And if there's any concerns, you can, again, go to your primary care, or to contact your healthcare professional. Um, any greetings that you would like to read, Brother Lance?
Let's see. There's a bunch of hashtags in the different local congregation. There's Sister, I think it's Sister Marjo Oka. Good evening here in the Philippines, and enjoy watching here in the INCRadio New York satellites. Greetings from the local congregation of Brixtonville, District of Caloocan North. Let's see if there's more. Uh, Sister Jennifer Trinidad, local of Long Beach, Orange County. Hi po, or hi to everyone. Uh, then Sister
That brother.
Margie.
Oh, go ahead.
Yep, go ahead.
Oh, Brother Jeb says, greetings, INC Radio New York, tuning in from INC Radio Orange County, California studio at the local of Anaheim, setting up for our upcoming broadcast. We have a lot from brethren from Portland Group Worship Service, Long Island City, Syracuse, and Woodside. So it's nice that you guys spend this morning on a lovely Saturday with us.
Yes. And I
Shall
think
we close out?
yes, we shall. We're already at 11:50.
Yes.
Go
So
ahead.
that's all for today's show. Sorry. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you to the church administration for giving us a platform like this to share and speak about interesting topics like these. Don't forget to catch us again next Saturday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, or Sunday, 11:30 Philippine a.m. 11:30 p.m. Philippine time.
Yeah, it gets confusing. Well, anyways, greetings to our beloved Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo B. Manalo, and to our Christian Family Organization Coordinator and Substitute President, Brother Angelo Iranio Manalo, and also greetings to our IC Radio Station Manager, Brother Wally Tarayan, our Executive Producer, Kuya Manley Andaya, and especially to our District Minister, Brother Sheridan Santos, and our Assistant District Minister, Brother Neil Patrick Almeda. And this brings us to the end of our show today. Have a good day, good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, everyone. Allergy attack.
Yes, excuse me. Happy Saturday.
Yes.